I've got a fuel injection kit right here that will blow your mind that goes underneath a carburetor. Yes, I know, underneath a carburetor. But we're going to talk about the pros and the cons of this kit. Is the CFI Enforcer worth the money? What does it do? How does it work? E85, gotta love it. So we've had this on the car for quite a while, and I think it's time that we revisit the CFI Enforcer kit and talk about it, because I know there's a big gap. I know people don't fully understand what it does, and they ask the question, why should I buy this? If my carburetor runs good, why should I spend the money on this? First though, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about my experience with it. Yes, this kit was sent to me from CFI. We actually installed the prototype and helped test this and bring it to market for you guys. I'm not obligated to make any more videos about the CFI. My job is done as a YouTube influencer, but I do feel like there's a ton of questions that still need to be answered for you guys so that you can decide whether you want this or not. Let's talk about this kit. First and foremost, I want to talk about what this kit is. It is a plate that goes underneath your carburetor, and it has an injector, or you can get it with 2 injectors. And what this does is it connects to a computer in here. If your O2 sensor senses that your car is lean, then it'll add more fuel. And guys, it's quick. I know that's going to be one of the biggest questions. Well, how quickly can it respond? Possibly, and we've not tested it, but possibly quick enough for nitrous. We're to that level of responsiveness. There's no way to sugarcoat this. This kit is $1,500, and that's not cheap. That's a lot of money. So you have to ask yourself, why would I spend $1,500 of my money to put this kit on my car? And that's what I hope to answer for you guys today. We were sent this product to be able to work on it with AMP-EFI and CFI to try to work all the bugs out of this thing, if there were any, and there were a couple, and bring this to market. Mike Laws, the creator of CFI, he told me, he said, we're trying to target the classic car guy that maybe wants to clean up his AFR, maybe wants to get better fuel mileage. I said, okay, cool. But I think there's a market for both. For the classic car guy that wants to clean up his carburetor that's all wonky and weird, right? Because sometimes it's just that way with carburetors. And I also think there's a market for the guys in the drag racing world or just high performance world. Now imagine this, your carburetor for some reason goes lean. It just randomly goes lean at the track and you melt an engine. It can happen. What if you had a backup system underneath? Let me explain that first, by the way. You set your target AFR to whatever you want to set it to. It's already set from CFI for you guys, but if you needed to alter that or change it, you can. Now, let's say you set your target AFR to 12.5, 13.0, whatever the case may be. This thing goes lean, a carburetor gets a piece of trash in it or something like that, and this thing starts going lean. Immediately, the CFI picks it up and your car's right back on target. Okay, that's worth its weight in gold, right? So you think, okay, well, that's a pretty good idea, right? It's a safety measure as well. But for you street rod guys that maybe you got a lazy ass carburetor that you just can't get right, this can really help clean it up, all right? But here's the deal with it. It can't be too fat. The only thing that this system can do is add fuel. It cannot take away excessive fuel from your carburetor. There's your compromise. Everybody's like, well, where's the compromise at? That's it. That's it. So I thought my carburetor was dialed in pretty good on all of my cars, and they are. They're good. They really are. Like, you can drive these cars. Look, guys, I love carburetors, but they're not perfect. This helps clean up those little transitions of leanness. Can't on the fat side. It can't change that. But what you can do is you can go into that fat side and you can bring that down a little bit too. And now what you have is a carburetor that's still safe to drive on the street. It also helps with cold starts as well. So if you got a car that's maybe like this one on E85 that's not often, but a lot of times hard to start, this helps. I'm not going to say that it's the magic remedy for all of it, because it's not. E85 on a cold day is it's hard, right? But what we can do with this system is add a little bit of a pump shot. So a pre-ignition, if you will, right before ignition, not like detonation, but pre-ignition, we can give a little pump shot there to help you guys out and get your car started. So there's a bunch of different things that we're working on with this to try to help you guys if you've got cold start issues and things like that. The system is currently still in development, meaning everything's being tweaked and tuned, if you will, so that it's perfect for you guys. Now I'm only running one injector in this car currently. That's it, one injector. You can get a 2 injector deal. We have been able to increase AFR, or decrease, I guess you could say, by 4 points. 4 points, y'all. 1, 2, 3, 4. That means if you're running an 18.0 AFR, which is extremely lean, it can pull 4 points down, which will be a 14.0 AFR. That seems to be the extreme of one injector at this size. Now you can get a bigger injector, but for this injector, I think that's about the limit that I would feel comfortable with. But 4 numbers, that is absolutely insane. Imagine 2 injectors. Now, there's no telling. We could probably pull this thing up, probably 6 to 7 numbers easily, I would think. You could almost run the car off of the injectors alone. That's not what this kit is. I'm not saying do that. I'm just saying that, like, we have that much control at this point, right? So one of the things that I want to talk about are some of the pitfalls that we kind of had along the way, some of the little hiccups. Let's go ahead and talk about those. When we first got the car running, everything worked great. I took it down the road, we drove the car, and everything seemed to be fine for about 5 minutes. And then the car started going extremely rich. We come back home, we did some tweaking, we took it back out, extremely rich, still rich. Come to find out, long story short, there was an issue with the hardware in the CFI. They went back into the lab and they figured out that they had a component in there that did not like the heat, essentially. You gotta remember, this was a prototype. So they went in and they fixed that. Since then, we put the new computer in the car, no issues at all. And honestly, that is the only issue that we had, which was a big issue. Don't get me wrong. It was a big issue, but they fixed it. They sent me another computer and we got it fixed, guys. And Steven at AMP EFI is also the other partner in this. He's the one that went in and fixed all of this, and it's been working flawlessly. But is it worth it? Is it worth it for you to put one of these CFI Enforcer kits on your car? I don't know. That's a question you have to ask yourself. Do you want better fuel mileage? Do you want your car to drive better under part throttle? And at wide open throttle, do you want your AFRs dead on? If that's worth the price of this kit, then I say absolutely. Because here's what happened to me. Now, as I've stated before, my carburetor ran really good. Myself and Kevin at CSU worked on this thing and we got this damn thing pretty good. Is it absolutely needed for me for like drag race applications for this car? No, not necessarily, it's not. But when I drive this car around, I get a cleaner run. Now, I talked to Kevin at CSU and he's like, hey, we can get these carburetors really, really close. And I'm game for that. As a matter of fact, let me show you something. Before we go any further, I gotta let you guys know that Kevin at CSU is actually on board with this. He's like, hey man, cool. If the technology's there, I'm interested in it. He said, but with that being said, you let me know that we have more work to do on our end as carburetor guys. And I'm like, yeah, you got a point, you know? He said, so what kind of difference did you see? I said, man, the car just felt a little cleaner throughout the gears, and little things that I had not noticed about my carburetor, I kind of noticed once I put the CFI on. And he understood that. But he said, I tell you what, I think we're missing a few components with your carburetor. So in here we have some new squirters, right? So bigger, as you can see, we got all the components in there, and we have some idle air bleeds and things like that. Kevin told me, he said, I'll tell you what, I love what they're doing over there at CFI, but at the same time, we have more room for improvement on your carburetor. It's a tale of two different worlds, if you think about it. CFI has come up with a fuel injection system that goes underneath your carburetor that really just helps smooth out everything. That takes out a lot of this work right here. It takes a lot of that out. Like you might not even need bigger squirters. You might not need different idle air bleeds and things like that. Can we get this carburetor better than it was? Absolutely. And if anybody on this earth can do it, Kevin at CSU can do it. But that's not really the point. It's not a carburetor versus EFI debate. That's not what this is. It's not a debate of, well, can my carburetor be good enough? Abso-freaking-lutely it can be good enough. But if you want to take safety to the next level and have some extra measures in there for safety, that's where this kit, you cannot argue with it. Bar none, there's nothing else like it on the market. Now, with that being said, I think we need to talk about a few other things that go along with this kit. But before we do, just know that I'm going to be working with Kevin at CSU to try to get this carburetor as close to the CFI stuff as we can. We're going to work our butts off for you guys just to show you both worlds, okay? I've even talked to Mike at CFI and he's like, hey man, cool. You know, y'all do your thing. There's room in this market for everybody. But I owe it to you guys to try to get this carburetor just as good as we can absolutely get it. Now I want to talk about some other stuff that comes along with owning the CFI, because you may be thinking to yourself, well, my carburetor runs good, I don't need this kit, like you're not selling me on it. Okay, cool. But here's where I will sell you on it if you guys have been lacking. Fan control. That's right, yeah. Be able to control your fans at a certain temperature. You can have your fans come on at whatever temperature you want these to come on at. That's something that I've gotten used to with the Terminator X. Let's say for some reason it does lean out. Well, I don't know, maybe the injector gets clogged. Maybe, I don't know, something happens and this thing for some reason does go lean. Well, there's safety measures in here because it's basically fuel injection, right? And it controls your timing. So what it can do is it can come in and lower your timing for you immediately as soon as this car starts to go above a certain AFR. Now that alone can save your engine. Now the timing alone is great to be able to control. So it goes lean, it pulls timing. Maybe that won't save your engine by itself, but the fact that you notice such a decrease in power, you get out of it. This thing like went into lit mode type thing, right? You're like, okay, we need to check on. If the car just feels really down on power because I pulled so much timing when it gets to a certain temperature or it gets to a certain AFR, then I'm stopping the car and I'm checking things. Which brings me to my next point, temperature control. You can control timing based off of temperature as well. I mean, those are a lot of safety measures that you're getting with this kit, with something that goes underneath your carburetor that nobody's ever gonna notice, see. It's not out of place. It's perfectly fine. Is the CFI kit right for you? I can't make that decision, but what I can do is post a link down below. You look at the price of it. You look at my reviews and anybody else upcoming that's gonna be testing this thing, and you decide for yourself. I understand the market is new, and you guys are gonna wanna see more tests and everything else. We will do that. So far though, here's what I can tell you in a nutshell. My car ran good before with a carburetor. It runs better now with the CFI. Here's what I want to say about timing control. Timing, that's for you, Zane. He always picks on me about it. When it comes to timing control, you get everything. You get your idle, you get your cruise, you get your wide open throttle. Like when I say timing control, I mean full control. Not just how much it advances, where it advances, when, how much at idle. You can make your car sound like it's a pro mod while it's idling. You can make it smooth out the idle if you want to. It's one of those things that you just have to experience it to understand it. Now, I do feel like I must reiterate, you slightly need to lean the carburetor out some, not to unsafe measures now. Do not go and lean your carburetor out to 15, 16, 0 all the way around. I wouldn't do that. Will it make up for the difference? Yes, but there's no need in that. Just get it slightly below your target AFR as much as you can in all the areas, and then just, there you go, turn the system on. That's it. That's all you need to do. So, with that being said, we're going to be doing a lot more testing with this car. We're going to take it to the track. We got to test out our new Team Z suspension. And also, which we have taken this car to the track, by the way, just so you know, we've taken it to the track with the CFI. It did not miss a beat. Not miss a beat. We have run it in the street. It never missed a beat. This thing is running as good as it can run because now our target AFR is where it needs to be. Rather than being super fat or super lean, it is where it needs to be. If you control your timing and your AFR, your engine is going to do all that it can do. You know, you get fan control, you get timing control, you get these safety measures that nobody ever wants to seem to talk about. What happens if your car's running at 220 degrees and you're not paying attention and you're just driving? This thing's gonna pull so much timing if you set it that way to where you're like, wow, my car feels oh wow, we're hot, right? Or my car feels lazy, what's going on? You look, temperature's good. Oh wow, AFR is really, really high on this thing. We're 16, 17.0 on AFR. Something's wrong, right? And it'll pull so much timing that it'll make you at least realize it. I feel like I need to reiterate that for you guys a lot because that alone is worth its weight in gold. Anyway, if you're interested, head over to CFI, check out the Enforcer Classic. I think you guys will like it. Is it costly? Yeah, it's expensive. There's a lot of technology that goes into this though. We'll be taking this car to the track here real soon, testing out the suspension, testing out the CFI. We'll also be rerunning our race here pretty soon between the Gray Ghost and this car with Berger driving this. I think he's got his third gear figured out. Guys, it's hard to jump into another car and drive it, especially after you've been used to a G101A, which is a clutchless shift. So you got to cut him some slack there. Berger is a very good driver. We're going to get it worked out on this next run. Catch you guys in the next one, and as always, thanks for watching.
Sometimes I fail to explain things properly, so I like to think outside the box. I made an AI spoken word song to help you guys understand it a little better if you're still struggling with it. Enjoy.
The CFI Enforcer Classic is a hybrid fueling system designed to work with a carburetor, not replace it. The main idea is simple. Let the carburetor keep doing what it does best, while the ECU adds modern correction and control where the carburetor needs help. The carburetor remains the foundation of the system. It still meters the air, provides baseline fuel, controls throttle response, keeps the classic look, and maintains the old-school feel. The airflow path and mechanical nature of the carburetor stay the same. The ECU works around the carburetor by monitoring real-time engine data such as temperature, load, throttle movement, and air-fuel ratio. It then adds fuel only when needed, including during cold starts, warm-ups, idle cleanup, cruising, quick throttle changes, and changes in weather, altitude, or temperature. A wideband oxygen sensor constantly checks the air-fuel ratio. If the engine starts to go lean or the mixture becomes inconsistent, the ECU can correct it. This can help reduce lean hesitation, improve combustion smoothness, improve mileage, and reduce exhaust smell and soot. The system can also control ignition timing. Instead of relying only on mechanical advance curves, the ECU can adjust timing based on RPM, engine load, temperature, fuel quality, and engine behavior. This can improve idle quality, throttle response, part throttle cruising, and overall drivability. One common tuning approach is to lean the carburetor slightly and allow the ECU to fill in the gaps with more precise fuel correction. The carburetor handles airflow and broad fueling, while the ECU adds the fine detail. The system offers flexible fuel pressure options in low pressure mode. It can work around 3 to 10 psi with many existing fuel systems, without major tank modifications, complicated plumbing, or full EFI style conversion. A high pressure option is also available for users who want more injector authority. Cold starts are improved when used with an electric fuel pump. The ECU can provide enrichment automatically, helping the engine start and warm up cleanly without pumping the pedal or fighting the choke. During normal driving, the system continues working in the background. It helps stabilize idle, keeps cruise air-fuel ratios cleaner and more efficient, and can add fuel under acceleration to help prevent bogs, stumbles, and flat spots. A major advantage is the mechanical fail-safe. If the ECU or injectors stop working, the carburetor is still there, and the engine can still run mechanically. Unlike a full EFI system, the car is not completely dependent on electronics. In short, the CFI Enforcer Classic lets the carburetor do the heavy lifting while the ECU adds precision. The carburetor gives the engine its classic feel, and the electronics add consistency.